a huge Trump supporter. We're also seeing a lot of rappers going over to Trump. I'm going to just preface everything. Not a fan of Trump. Don't want him to win the presidency. I think he's very divisive, and it's just not what this country needs. Fucking rappers, man. So Charleston White, we'll see if we don't get kicked off of Twitch for this. Charleston White is we are fucked up as a race of people. Charleston White. This is a music album that you can stream right now. This picture is very interesting. Black man killer. I won't say all of these things, but this is just a taste of what Charleston White is.
For one, y'all ain't strong enough, nigga. Y'all ain't never killed no white man. Ain't none of you niggas strong enough and brave enough where y'all ever went out and killed no white man. So shut up talking. All you bitch ass black boys on here talking. As a matter of fact, go to get your bitch ass out of here, nigga. Talking about the white boy wrong. The white boy ain't never wrong in my word.
He sounds like Jesse Lee Peterson, but like a little bit more gangster. And by the way, the name of his management company is called Uncle Tom Management Presents. Okay, so this dude has made a good amount of money expressing his thoughts, which, hey, this is America. I'm just giving you guys an outline and a basis for what's to come.
The white man ain't never wrong in my world, nigga. Fuck you talking about. Anytime the white boy he earned the right to kick a nigga in. Your forefathers and your ancestors decided to be slaves. His forefathers and his ancestors decided to enslave your ancestors. Your ancestors decided not to fight back. When the white boy British come over here and threw all the tea off the Boston dock over there, the white boy decided to fight back. He fought Britain back. The white boy over here
and this is a music album. So there's other songs where like it's just him ranting over like rap beats, right? We won't go on too long with this because, again, I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. This is for educational purposes only, friends. And I do not agree with what this man is saying.
Ass up. Sam Williams, you get out of here, boy. This is a bootlicking party. What the fuck you getting in here and we bootlicking in here for, boy? We don't give a damn about that nigga. Nigga shouldn't have been writing bad checks. Had he had him some goddamn money. Had that nigga woke up this morning and got him some goddamn money and not been trying to write bad check, the white boy wouldn't have had to kill him. White boy had to kill that nigga. That nigga didn't want to get in the car. They took the nigga 10 minutes to try to put the nigga in the car. You know how big and strong a nigga got to be when he got 4 white boys on his back trying to put him in the police car, and this nigga...
He's talking about George Floyd, by the way, which is like, you know, it's very sacrilegious in the black community. You need to be talking about Georgie. He's talking shit. I know you can have your opinions about George Floyd, and that's obviously, you know, whatever it is, that's fine. But again, this dude is mad shit talker. Okay, this is where he kind of makes his money off of. And he's considered a rapper. So that takes me over to, so what I'm saying is that you're seeing a lot more support for Trump in the black community, especially for rappers. And it's not everybody sounds as ignorant as this dude, right? This dude he's just, I'm sorry, but he's very funny, right? But like this shit is just like, why even put this shit out there? So let me see here. Where is he? So he was talking, he was on an interview about Trump because Trump was speaking at a Black Conservative Federation rally, and he said some racist shit, and of course Charleston White in for the rescue, backing his boy up, and you know, making excuses, or at least not making excuses, but like trying to decipher the rhetoric. And this is a big part of why I don't like Trump, is that he is so divisive on the way he says shit. It's just like, I said it last time, it's like, I would vote for Trump if Trump wasn't Trump. right? Because like I do like that we had peacetime. I do like that he invested in all these HBCUs. I do like that he like our economy was great under him, and there was a lot of good things that came out of that administration, but like we also had the beginning of the biggest divide in this country that the world has ever seen, and in part it was because this dude is over here shit talking. Now, I know a lot of people are like, you gotta look past the rhetoric, man. You gotta look past his words, which is what we're about to hear from Charleston. But that doesn't make it right, right? So let's hear from Charleston and him defending. Oh, we should probably view what he was saying first. So let's go over. So these guys are conservative black dudes, and they did a pretty good job at breaking down. But again, they're sort of defending Trump on what he's saying. And, they have every right to defend the man and his fucking terrible words. But what happened? Is she pooping? Oh, shit. Oh, the baby just fucking threw down some poop on the changing table. Does it stink? It does stink. And baby's been having a little bit of diarrhea, folks. Okay, so getting into these remarks that he made, let's just check them out.
And CJ Pearson. So Mary and CJ, congratulations. That's unbelievable.
Oh, wait, did I not have that right? Okay, so let's watch this guy. This dude, I don't like this guy. Tell the baby mama I said hi. Valo says hi. Hey, Valo. He said, hey, Valo. So we'll watch this guy because he does a good job at highlighting the points. And then we'll go over to Charleston.
I'm being indicted for you, the black population. I am being indicted for a lot of different groups.
Yeah, that's real. Donald Trump spoke at an event hosted by an organization called the Black Conservative Federation in Columbia, South Carolina. The Black Conservative Federation is led by someone who also runs an organization called Black Voices for Trump. This is one of the most unhinged, racist, weird speeches black people.
Then I got indicted.
Here, play this clip.
And then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against.
So it's like, that's why the black people like me, because I get discriminated against like black people. Like, what? You're a fucking billionaire, sir. You're not being discriminated. But there is a reality to it that he is being charged on some politically motivated charges, although, some of them are sticking, some of them are probably well-to-do, but it's still, he is being politically persecuted right now. So there is truth behind that, but to sit there and compare your experience to the American black experience, that's a little bit much, Mr. fucking Trump. What you getting?
This bag.
Oh, you need the bag, I see. Anyways, let's listen to more. So this dude gives us commentary, but I'm going to probably skip past him because,
It's been pretty amazing, but it...
Yeah, that's actually not AI. That's actually...
...side now, because that's why...
Is that again? Play the clip.
I think that's why the black people are so much on my side now, because they see what's happening to me happens to them. Does that make sense? I've heard that. When I did the mugshot in Atlanta, that mugshot is number one. Elvis Presley's number two, and Frank Sinatra's. They had Frank Sinatra for fighting, and they had Elvis for, I don't know, something in a gas station. He tried to hold up a gas station. I don't know, something. Elvis. So Elvis is number two, but he was always number one. The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. They do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing. Millions.
I'm just wondering where he's getting these numbers. Like, they sell them for $19 a piece. What are you getting these numbers? Where's this information coming from? Who said that his mugshot? But here's the interesting thing, right? Like, his popularity did rise every time that this man gets indicted for a new charge. Every time that that mugshot came out, he gets a boost in his approval rating. So it's really interesting to see. And it's interesting to see how many people of color are sort of like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to look past his rhetoric and go. The Mexicans have been loving him. The Asians have been loving him. And black folks have been coming over to him. I can understand why. And I'm not going to judge any black people or people of color for going over to Trump, right? I'm that's not what I'm here for. You can vote for who you want. We're individuals in this country who can make our own decisions. And I don't know better than another person, right? Like, I don't know what's best for another person. I know what's best for me and in my family, but I don't know what's best for another person. So I'm not going to sit here and shit on other black people or other people of color for choosing to go over the Trump, even if it's confusing to me. His cuisine, cousins, brothers, uncles, nephews, former college roommates sells those mugshot shirts, and he knows the numbers because he gets 70%. Look, I don't know where he gets. The weird part about Trump is, like, he'll just be in these ramblings, and then when you go back and look at it, and as history goes on, you'll see he's like, a lot of times he's actually saying some based shit. But again, it's all intertwined with, like, that's why black people love me, because I'm a criminal. That's why the blacks love me. It's like it's mixed in with this rhetoric, and which is going to divide the people even more. And that's the biggest reason why I don't like Trump, is because his rhetoric is just fucking toxic. It's toxic. If we could just get somebody who wasn't toxic like this, and maybe that's what it takes, I guess, nowadays. But, like, for me personally, I know that doesn't work for me. So man, he's just out of control, bro. He's just always out of control.
Millions, by the way, millions of these things have been.
Here, Donald Trump asks the audience at the Black Conservative Federation in South Carolina if they know Cary Grant and Sidney Poitier.
I'm not sure that Cary Grant. Do you know Cary Grant?
See, I don't. This one isn't that terrible. I think he's just making fun of. Biden.
He's a very handsome guy. I'm going to put it more in this. Sidney Poitier, I thought he was very handsome, right? When he was 81, I'm not sure he looked great in a bathing suit. I don't know if anybody looks too great in a bathing suit at 81. What do you think? Maybe these guys look good in a bathing suit.
So he's making fun of Joe Biden because Joe Biden was in a bathing suit and looking all disheveled and dementia ridden, which he's very good at looking. The dude looks like he's half in, half out of it. Maybe 70% out, maybe 30% in. Anywho, all bodies are beach body. Fair enough. He's going after Joe Biden's beach body. Whatever. I'm not mad at it. It's not like something that's just, it's not like black people love me because I'm a criminal. It's like, all right.
But
talks about whether you'd rather have a white president or a black president, and play the clip.
less. Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got $1.7 billion off the price? I think.
And so what he's talking about here is that he's been referencing a lot of. He's saying that Obama is running Joe Biden's administration. There's a lot of rumors of that. Maybe, probably not. I don't know. Who fucking knows what's going on in behind? Like, who knows what's going on in the background? Because we don't. We know that Joe Biden's not sitting there making the tough decisions when he's sitting there fucking licking ice cream while fucking babies are being blown to pieces in Palestine. So the dude he's not there. So he's insinuating that Obama is behind all the decisions that Joe Biden is making, which is possible, but I don't know.
I think they want the white guy. Right now.
I think they want the white guy.
Talks about vanilla and chocolate ice cream. Play the clip.
Think of this. Jim from NBC.
This is he's making fun of Joe Biden again.
Yes. Mr. President, what's your favorite color of the ice cream and flavor of the ice cream? Okay. Then he picks up a card and he reads the answer. My favorite color is black. But my favorite ice cream is vanilla. Okay?
And again, I think he's making a comment on how Joe Biden and his administrations will pander to black folks. Like in 2020, how they pandered to BLM as they were burning down the city, saying that it's mostly peaceful protest, when in actuality it was lots of fire bombings and people were dying, and a lot of like nothing's gotten better since 2020. More black people have died in these inner city scuffles since then. BLM doesn't care, right, about black people. They didn't. If they cared about black people, they'd be marching in these broke down ass part of the city and fucking actually putting the money, instead of buying mansions, they would be putting the money into these communities to help stop gang violence, because there's so much gang violence going on right now. Tell me he breaks into I'm Vanilla Baby Jack. No, Jack Harlow wouldn't release the okay. And he said, no, not doing it.
He then talks about how he has more people after his ass than anyone. Play the clip.
I have more people after my ass than anybody. I don't think there's ever been a criminal, the worst criminal in history has not had the kind of attention that I've had.
Then he talks about how the lights are very
I don't know how that's racist.
bright, and therefore
This one's
this
questionable.
is who he can see in the audience. Play the clip.
Good. These
More
are-
Canadians? What the fuck? Something wrong with us if Trump gets president. Cheer and happy Friday. Give me drums. Haha. Oh, you're not Canadian, Pepe. I got you mixed up with someone else. Sorry, Pepe. Pepe, good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. Yeah, more drums. Sorry, man. I got you all wrong. I think you're Switzerland, right?
lights are so bright in my eyes
Listen
that
to
I
this
can't
guy.
see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see, that's how far I've come. That's how far I've come.
That's how far you've come. All I can see, all I can see is the black ones. That's rough, man. That's rough. And that's hard to defend. That's really hard to defend for anybody who is supporting Trump. It's like, how do you defend like that kind of shit? Now, look, in comedy, these kinds of lines are crossed all the time, correct? And like there is this tongue-in-cheek sort of thing that goes into comedy where you sort of suspend your, hardened beliefs on stuff, and you sort of give yourself over to a comic and let them sort of take you on a ride through the way they think. And so you have some people who will say some racist shit, and if they can make it funny, it's funny, right? This is a motherfucking presidential candidate, right? I say it all the time. Trump is hilarious. But we're not trying to get a fucking comedian into the office, okay? Like the comedian part is like, it's out. It's out. We need someone who could fucking run a country. And I mean, that might work in the Ukraine, right? Like you can hire the comic who will do whatever you say, whatever the United States has to say, and tells them what to do. Have you guys seen Zelensky dancing in high heels and shit? Anyways, that works over in the Ukraine, but that shit don't work here, right? Like we don't need a comedian. Especially, we need someone who's distinguished. That's why I loved Obama. Even though Obama did so many horrible things, like Obama deported 3 million people in his time in office, right? Like he killed more brown people than George W. Bush did. Like, it's just that, he wasn't better, but he was just a better statesman. He had a better demeanor. He wasn't out here making semi-racist or all the way racist jokes like fucking dickhead here. Yeah, Latino women think I'm from Switzerland. Okay, well, I can't remember. I know you're somewhere over there. Why they gotta be black? He's at the Black Conservative Federation. Hey, Mike, Trump game comedians, so much material, it isn't funny. Welcome in, Joanne. Hey, I think John Mulaney would make a great president. Possibly. Yeah, Trump is hilarious, but I don't think he's you know, like that's great and it works for his business persona and stuff, but my God, it's not presidential. It's not presidential is what I'm saying. So let's go on and hear him talk more shit.
That's a long way, isn't it? Besides, we've come a long way together. Lynn Patton.
Here he talks about the cognitive moments he has where he mixes up people's names. Like he calls Biden Obama, and he says that he loves to interchange. Play the clip.
Being sarcastic, I interchange names all the time. Every time I interchange a name, and I do it in sarcasm, every time I interchange a name, they say, Donald Trump didn't know this one from that one. I know exactly what the hell I'm... Don't forget, I'm up here now rapping to you guys for 45 minutes without any notes.
Here he talks about other names that he was thinking about giving his social media platform. Play the clip.
They had all these different names, these crazy names that nobody understood. And, you know, like Zion, Ziananing, Dodong, Dadang. 5 letters, I said.
Some really weird stuff right there.
Now, and the problem is with this guy, I don't know if he's taking the speech out of context or not. But I mean, if he's making fun of people's names because they're like from different countries or they're black or something, like, you know, that's fucked up. Like, there's no need to go after people's names. There's no need. John Mulaney just came back from his rehab because he was on crack. No way. John Mulaney was on crack? I thought he was just an alcoholic. I mean, John Mulaney's funny, but like, I wouldn't vote for him for president. I mean, Zelensky, the comedian, he's already over there and he's in the middle of a fucking war. So I don't know how well comedians do. But again, Joe Biden drug us right into war. So, and he's senile. So, hey, whatever.
Really racist stuff. Really just some real strange stuff. Let's take a look at some of the comments that we received.
Okay, we don't care about the comments.
This is from our post on our Instagram account. One person writes, so he's basically Russian.
A 4th time. Then I got indicted a 2nd time and a 3rd time and a 4th time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against.
Okay,
and they
so
actually viewed
we
me
get
as
it.
I'm being...
We get it. And then so here's the whole speech actually.
With the help.
But we're not going to sit through the whole speech here. So that was just this is what this interview with rapper Charleston White was about. This is what they're referencing when he's about to talk. So we'll get into this. And again, Charleston White is not the greatest. He's not the greatest idea guy out there. We heard what he was saying about George Floyd. Which there is some merit to it, but like that's not the kind of shit that make you know, like the way he was saying shit and the way that he was degrading the black race and stuff. It's not the way you uplift anything, right? There's nothing to that. He's really just trying to, you know, shock and awe people, and you're gonna get the most extreme ideologists who are gonna latch onto that and really like him. I mean, he's making a whole living doing this as a quote unquote rapper. Wow. Alcohol, crack, and cocaine. That's crazy. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. I'm Rick James, bitch. So here is Charleston White talking about running defense for Donald Trump, basically.
Trump was at a rally. He's like, man, the lights are so bright. All I see is black people. Yeah, all I see is the black ones. And then he goes off to say, like, he's like, man, I've been indicted so much, the black people just accept me. Here I go, indictment. And he's just saying this shit. I'm like, whoa. And I know Trump's your guy. But when he's just pandering us like that, like, wow, I've been indicted so much that the black people take me as one of their own. I'm like, wow.
But listen, he's not talking to us.
I know. Boy, here.
He's doing that to evoke a reaction. Same way when I be talking about, man, these Peckerwood white folk, woo. Homie, he's using that as talking points to generate a base. So he's kind of using like reverse racism, like. And he's reminding black people, the people that y'all vote for are the ones that put these criminal laws over y'all. Mass incarceration law. So what he's doing, he's reminding black people that all the trouble and crime that they've been into is associated to the president they voted for. He's using rhetoric, homie. But we getting stuck on his words and not paying attention to his rhetoric.
Yeah.
Nah, homie, he ain't talking to us. He talking to his base. Just like they talk to their base. When they come tell us, vote or die. Just like when Hillary Clinton had the hot sauce in her purse.
That was gross. And just like when Joe Biden says, if you vote for Donald Trump, then you ain't black. That's some racist shit. I'm sorry. That's disgusting. I didn't know either, but his latest special is about how he's sober now. Well, I'm sure that's not funny. We want to hear fucking fucked up, coked up John Mulaney. I'm just kidding. It's good for people to get sober, by the way. It's not a bad thing. So he's running defense, and again, Charleston White is making some decent points here. I don't think that any of this kind of rhetoric is excusable for a presidential candidate or a president. And so I didn't pull that up. I need to pull that up. Let's go and try to find Joe Biden's greatest moments here. Joe Biden most racist moments. Joe Biden's real record on the race. Here it is.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Huh? They are? What do you mean, Joe Biden? Poor kids are just as bright as white kids? What does that mean? And he's talking at the Asian and Latino coalition. Whoops. I love this fucking guy. I don't like Joe Biden at all. If you guys don't know, he had that when people like Bo Burnham more bow because he's less problematic. I like Bo Burnham. I think he's great, and I think especially Bo Burnham, he was able to transcend his the limitations of YouTube, because he was like one of those, he was loved by all these young kids on YouTube because of his funny songs, but then he was able to take that and make a total stand-up career out of it. So let's keep going with every racist moment. Let's go.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
That's a storybook, man. That's a storybook. Yeah, because he's the first one. He was the first black guy who ever fucking spoke and could be articulate with his words, man. It's the first one I ever met, man.
Come on, man. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
It's a long way until November.
I'm not joking. You can't go into a 7-Eleven without having somebody with an Indian accent, right? Like,
We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It's an indicator.
Ah, gosh. Golly gee, Grandpa. Man, and when you add on top of that the 94 crime bill, which he helped put together, 94 crime bill, which has incarcerated more black people than there were slaves, right? There's more black people in fucking prison right now than there were slaves. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm sorry, but Grandpa is not fit. Grandpa is not a fit leader. He's corrupt as shit. And, you know, I'm not saying that Trump isn't. Again, this isn't Biden. This isn't me celebrating Trump. But we are kind of exploring how black people are starting to go over to Trump, because there is a big movement, and not just black people, people of color. We got Mexicans and Asians all sort of flooding over to Trump right now. And there's a reason for that. And you know, if it wasn't for the rhetoric, I would probably be that one of those Mexicans that would be over there voting for Biden or for bleh. Never voting for Biden again. I'd be over there voting for Trump if he wasn't such a fucking turd ball.
Of taking black people for granted. It's a way of saying, we got y'all. It's a way of saying, I can be overconfident because I know that you guys always vote Democrat. I can predict how you guys are going to vote. And I know that you guys have already bought into the narrative that Trump is racist, right? So as long as I'm not Trump, I can do whatever I want to do. I can say whatever what I want to say, and I don't have to worry about you and any of your concerns and being intelligent enough to speak to your concerns intelligently.
Now, you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. He's going to let the big banks once again.
My state was a slave state. Okay, buddy. Thanks. We know. We know. We know, asshole. They were all slave states. I don't know how racist that is, but I mean, maybe he's proud of his slavery roots. I don't know. Can we please have a decent person run for president, or is that asking too much? I think it's asking for too much, Joanne, because anybody who wants to be in this kind of position of power is somebody who is probably just terrible, right? Just not a good person. Like, whoever wants to lead, who wants to be in that position of power tends to be the psychos and the sociopaths, right? I don't have a choice. Trump is... You always have a choice. RFK 2024, everybody. Although there's some things that I don't agree with RFK. Like, he thinks there should be more gun control. I don't know about that. That's not great. But, you know, there's other things that I really like about RFK. But anyways, unless you're a well-spoken African...
Again, write their own rules. Unchain their own rules. Let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put y'all back in chains.
And I can tell you, as someone who...
Ouch! They're going to put y'all back in chains.
Was a little brown girl, I found Joe Biden's words very condescending indeed.
So this tweet that Joe Byron put out this morning: little girls woke up across this nation, especially black and brown girls who so often may feel overlooked and undervalued in our society, potentially seeing themselves in a new way as the stuff of presidents and vice presidents. And I think this is where he's talking about Kamala, because he went out and was like, I'm going to get Kamala Harris, or we're going to get a black woman to be vice president. Again, it was a pandering to the black people, even though Kamala doesn't really claim black, and she put more black people in prison, kept more black people in prison in California than any time in history. She knew that they were going to, she knew someone was innocent and kept them in prison because it was going to make her department look bad. I mean, she was all about that slave labor, which the prison system is. Good, they deserve it.
It's very condescending indeed, and I think a lot of other brown girls would have felt the same way.
I think the two-party system, although my Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this, I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black in the South. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind about it.
Biden sought and received support.
Now that was from an older clip, right? And I do take into consideration that things change over time, right? But I just don't think Joe Biden has changed over time. But when people say shit back in the day, it was a different time, it was a different world, and get the fuck over it, okay? Like, we used to say that's gay all the time in the early 2000s and the 90s, right? I used to say it on the school, right? We'd call people the F word, and I don't mean fuck. It was a part of how we talked, okay? It was a different time. Do I use it like that anymore? No, I don't. I don't go around saying those words in those ways because we've evolved as a society, and that's fine, as we should. We should progress forward. I just don't think Joe Biden has progressed anywhere other than only progressed his bank account over the years.
from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race.
You said surprising. Surprising in what way?
Well, the fact that he would solicit the support of staunch segregationists, James Eastland, as well as Jesse Helms.
In terms of foreclosures, in terms of bad loans that were being, these Shylocks who took advantage.
Specifically, have you taken a cognitive
No,
test?
I haven't taken a test. Before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not? What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump?
Oh, yeah, from VP to, from senator. I think he started as a Congress or senator to VP to president, right? And he just called this black gentleman. He asked if he was a crackhead or a junkie before he got this position of power, or at least this position in the news media. He's laughing about it. We're talking about a cognitive test, which is part of the overall test. What is that called? Physical, that each president has to go under. Although in this last week, right? Maybe this week, the doctor cleared him physically, but that didn't include a cognitive test. Now, everybody can see that this man is declining mentally. It's very obvious that that's what's happening. But yet we're not going to test him. We're just gonna overlook that and just keep going. Robert Hur and his investigation, he just said that he's not mentally fit to even be tried and prosecuted for the crimes that he's committed. Mike and friends, speaking of horse manure, I gotta go take care of ponies. Hey, that's awesome. Enjoy your ponies. Have a great day, Joanne. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Why in this nation do black Americans wake up knowing that they could lose their life in the course of just living their life? They gotta know we're listening. Now is the time for racial justice. We have such an opportunity now to change people's lives for the better. It's about who we are, what we believe, and maybe most importantly, who we want to be.
Right, and of course, he's pandering to the black folks, and at that time, people were so worried about the cops shooting black people, and actually, it's really interesting. Roland Fryer has just came back into the public spotlight again because he did a interview with Barry Weiss where they were talking about his study he did back, I think, in 2018. Let's just look at that and what ended up happening to him. So like Biden was just talking about, when he made that video, BLM marches, pandemic, all this shit was going on at that time. Roland Fryer. And this dude right here
collected millions of observations.
This dude is a Harvard professor, and he had some upsetting evidence that was in opposition of what Biden was just trying to push on the people. And let's listen to this guy. Hope you don't have to deal with too much shit. So Roland Fryer, he is a professor of economics at Harvard, and he did a huge study on police violence against the black community. And let's hear what he's saying.
I collected a lot of data. We collected millions of observations on everyday use of force that wasn't lethal. We collected thousands of observations on lethal force. And it was in this moment in 2016 that I realized people lose their minds when they don't like the result. And so what my paper showed, you'll see tomorrow, like some of you, was that, yes, we saw some bias in the low-level uses of force, every day pushing up against cars and things like that.
So they did recognize that cops were more forceful with people of color, especially black folks, which we can all probably agree that black folks do get over policed, and people do sort of come through, and police will they will target black people. What does that have to do with economics? I think I think economics spreads across a broad spectrum of studies, moving Dutchman, at least here in the United States. Because it's a study of data and numbers, right? So I believe that's why. But yeah, economics is a broad spectrum of topics that get studied under that. Everything has to do with economics. There you go. Gene knows. I'm a professor Barabbas, by the way. Okay. I don't know what that means.
People seem to like that result, but we didn't find any racial bias in police shootings. Now,
Any?
that was really surprising to me because I expected to see it. The little known fact is I had 8 full-time RAs that it took to do this over nearly a year. When I found this surprising result, I hired 8 fresh ones and redid it to make sure. They came up with the same exact answer, and I thought it was robust. And then I went to go give it, and my God, all hell broke loose. It was a 104-page, dense academic economics paper with a 150-page appendix, okay? It was posted for 4 minutes when I got my first email. This is full of shit. Doesn't make any sense. And I wrote back, how'd you read it that fast? That's amazing. You are a genius. And I had colleagues take me to the side and say, don't publish this. You'll ruin your career. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what's wrong with it? Do you believe the first part? Yes. Do you believe the second part? Well, the issue is they just don't fit together. We like the first one, but you should publish the second one another time. I said, let me ask this. If the second part about the police shootings, this is a literal conversation. I said to them, if the second part showed bias, do you think I should publish it then? And they said, yeah, then it would make sense. And I said, I guarantee you I'll publish it. We'll see what happens. So it was I lived under police protection for about 30 or 40 days. I had a 7-day-old daughter at the time. I remember going and shopping for it because, when you have a newborn, you think you have enough diapers, you don't. So I was going to the grocery store to get diapers with an armed guard. It was crazy. It was really, truly crazy.
So, however you want to take that, which you guys are taking it differently, however you want to take that, right? He's indicating that the idea that black people are being shot in the streets, just randomly, unarmed black people being murdered in the streets by the police, was a fallacy according to his research, right? Now, and that's just according to his research. I'm not saying anything about it. But he also did find that there is an aggressive overuse of force with people of color, especially black people, by the police. So that information did not fit a specific narrative as pushed, especially by Black Lives Matter. And this is back in 2016. So we got to think that Michael Brown was happening then. Trayvon Martin was all back then. And Trayvon Martin, that was different because he actually got killed by a Mexican security guard. But, Michael Brown, the hands up, don't shoot, which actually never happened. Hands up, don't shoot was never even said by Michael Brown. And apparently, I guess Michael Brown was trying to grab cops' guns, but I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that too much. Other than that's just sort of my terrible memory of the situation. But so there was a huge movement, the rise of BLM and police violence, right? That was a huge thing that was being pushed, and it sort of came to a peak during the BLM riots of 2020 with the killing of George Floyd, which that was a killing, right? He did murder him. Although the coroner says that it was a fentanyl overdose, but I'm sure he was stressed out from that fucking asshole's knee on his neck, right? Like there's no reason for him to fucking choke him out for that long. It was a horrible video. Fuck that guy. What's his Chauvin? Whatever that police officer's name was, whatever. Let's catch up here. He looks like he talks like a clown. Well, I mean, he's a professor of economics. I don't know what to tell you there. And Gene meant the wipers, and I am an angry white man with a belly. Me too. Except I'm Mexican and white. I think that's a woman. Yeah, Barry Weiss. She is a very famous journalist who talks on this. 2016, come on, 2023 already, 2024. Sorry, yeah. Look at you, moving Dutchman. Your belly's so big you don't even know what year it is. It's 2042. The WEF is in charge. WHO makes all the laws now. AI has taken everybody's job. Welcome to 2042. So that narrative was being pushed, right? And again, I don't know. I read through some of the research he did. It's beyond me. And I've been looking for research that contradicts what he was doing, but I haven't found it. And I guess I haven't been looking that hard. I'm sure there's tons of research that go against what he's saying. I'm just saying this is one dude who found that there was a discrepancy on the narrative, between the narrative of what was being pushed and what was actually happening according to his study. And I mean, in the sad part about it is that the most people who kill black people are black people. The most people who kill Mexicans are Mexicans. The most people who kill white people are white people. So what's sad about the reality is that we tend to kill our own because of proximity and such. So that's the sad truth about humanity, I suppose. But sort of bringing it back to our racist grandpa, that ad was an ad where he was talking about, look, this was the ad again.
We're listening. Now is the time for racial justice. We have such an opportunity now to change people's lives for the better. It's about who we are, what we believe, and maybe most importantly, who we want to be.
So that whole ad was at a time when BLM marches were going on strong, and he was pandering to black people for their vote. And nothing has gotten better since Biden has gotten there. Black people and people of color have not really, nothing's really changed. Things are even worse, I would say, especially again in these underserved communities, which have been crumbling for almost 100 years under Democratic rule, right? So it is a bit, it does feel like the Democrats have been selling this lie to people of color for a very long time. Now, I'm not saying go out and be a Republican, because I don't trust the Republicans either. They're complicit in all this as well. So that's why it's RFK Jr. 2024. But you know, this is what happens, right? Every election cycle, we go in and we start talking about race, and they start, you know, we did it for the black people and we did it for the Mexicans, but yet we're seeing people flee from the Democratic Party. We're seeing black and brown people flee from the Democratic Party, and unfortunately, the only other option they feel is that Trump is there, and Trump, okay, he's saying all this racist shit, and his rhetoric is garbage, but people are looking past it because I think in part people are sort of getting past and over this whole woke culture where you can't say this, you can't say that. People are pretty sick of it, especially here in America. I would say America for sure. People are just sort of over it. People are sick of being censored. And again, I'm not in favor of racism or of any kind, but I would say that even the racists have a place in America. Because that's your thought. That's what you think. That's fine. I don't have to be your friend. We don't have to be homies. What did you say? Sweet, I don't have to work anymore. The most people that kill Asians are white people. No. Is that true? Dude, I know was ganged up. He said they were cool with other races. He was Asian. They're fighting with other Asians. Well, what's interesting now is that Asians qualify as white people now, right? And these universities are discriminating against Asians because they're doing so well and scoring so high in these tests that now they're raising the standards for Asians. So like now even Asians are sort of being classified in the white category because Asians do so well because their culture is so it is so involved in just doing well and working hard, which is great, right? That's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing for Asians to be in that category, but now they're considered as white, which is really weird. Hey, we worked hard for that discrimination. You're absolutely right. Fucking Asians are, they don't deserve to be discriminated against in any way. And you guys remember when black people were fucking Asians up? You guys remember that? Maybe not. I don't know. Don't deny us. So it's a strange time to be alive, but it's exciting. This is exciting shit, isn't it? You know what? And Moving Dutchman, I do want to look into economics. Is economics a broad area of study? I don't know if that's the right question. Yes, economics is a broad area of study. It's a social science that intersects with many other fields, including political science, geography, mathematics, sociology, psychology, engineering, law, medicine, and business. So there you go. Economics is concerned with finding the most effective way to use resources to achieve social and private goals. It also analyzes how resources move within market systems, the components of those systems, and how incentives influence the actions of participants. Economics can help people understand the historical trends, interpret current events, and make predictions for the future. It can also provide answers to a range of social, political, and health issues that affect communities and households. So, yeah, a professor of economics can definitely study. It's definitely a broad range of study. So, it can do lots of stuff. Interesting subject to study, but whatever. So let's go back to racist Joe Biden. My ass is over here like, bro, I don't speak Spanish. All the Cubans. How many like pan-Asian Cuban cuisine restaurants are there, though? That's what you got to ask yourself.
March in the civil rights movement.
Oh,
I did
yeah.
not march with the 12.
Oh, yeah.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes. I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else. I was, in fact, very concerned about the civil rights movement. I was not an activist. I worked at an all-black swimming pool.
Which is, I think this is all lies. This is all lies. He talks about marching with Nelson Mandela. He still talks about Nelson Mandela.
In the east side of Wilmington, Delaware. I was involved. I was involved in what they were thinking, what they were feeling. I was in law school. I wore sport coats. I was not part of that. I'm serious. I'm not big on flak jackets and tie-dye shirts and, that's not me.
More than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood and kept telling the story.
And he still will say that shit. He'll still say, I marched in the civil rights. He sounds like George W. Moore when he was a young gun. I like George W. more than Joe Biden, honestly, even though I despise George W. Bush, and George W. Bush is a fucking war criminal. So is fuckface Jones over here. But it's like he's a criminal against our American society is what Joe Biden is. They should both be in prison, by the way. But yeah, like at least George W. was somewhat of a likable character, right? Like, you always heard that thing, I could get a beer with George W. Bush. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the head sniffer. I mean, we're not even talking about how he sniffs children's hair anytime he wants to fuck, anytime there's a kid around, and how they fucking, they cringe away from fucking grandpa.
Anyway, that is really, really weird.
Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea of civil rights, but was not actually marching in the streets.
Moving Desmond! Thank you so much for that sub, my friend. This message is not approved by me. Vote Biden. I refuse to vote for Biden, okay? RFK 2024, y'all. Let's go.
As much that he was supporting civil rights, but I'm saying that in today's
that's not the word marching
Twitter, okay.
I know, you're just telling what they said,
Right, but in the age of Twitter today, Instagram, there would be pictures of him not marching. So you cannot get away with that in this moment. So that's his big challenge.
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
I do want to ask you about one thing that you said repeatedly on the trail. I think it's 3 times now. You said that during a visit to South Africa, to visit Nelson Mandela, which I know was a very memorable visit for you, that you were arrested when you were there. Your campaign has come out since and said, no, you were separated from other people at the airport, but you did say arrest 3 times. Why?
Well, what I meant to say was, I was not able to move. I guess I wasn't arrested, I was stopped. I was not able to move where I wanted to go. I was a kid from suburbia. I lived out in Mayfield on a split level.
I mean, he just, and look, politicians lie. I'm not saying that Trump is the honesty king here, right? And I'm not even trying to pull anybody to vote for Trump or anything, like, cause fuck Trump. But like, this guy is fucking terrible. And he's a career politician that, again, the 94 crime bill is fucking ridiculous. Same thing, stopped, arrested. Yeah, it's same exact thing, Moving Dutchman. Same exact thing. Thank you again for that sub, buddy. I appreciate you.
Go home, but I didn't know any black people. No, I really didn't. You didn't know any white people either. That's the truth. And I was the only white employee here. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pulls. He was the mechanic, and he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain, and you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. So I walked out with the chain. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, you apologize to me? I said, I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said. He said, okay, closed the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again. So I learned about roaches.
President, in talking about the continuing recession tonight.
I talked about roaches. Hold on, this was funny though when Trump was making fun of Biden, how Biden just wanders around. Who is the Shane Gillis was in his latest special. He said that Joe Biden, when he's done with speeches, looks like a Roomba, where he's just like. He doesn't know where to go. No auto cue. No auto cue. No, I do not auto cue here. I don't like auto cueing. So no, we're done with that. So we'll come back to Charleston here, and he's talking about Trump and how he was. He's defending Trump for saying all that racist shit. Obviously, Joe Biden is fucking just deeply racist, and his policies reflect that. And he's a warmonger.
They're talking to a base of people, homie. This is political rhetoric. And black people don't know how to recognize
because we listening with our emotions. We ain't listening for the hidden. Nah, homie, we tune into politics with our emotions, and we don't understand the political rhetoric that comes with this shit that play on our emotions.
So Biden himself on the other side, of course he's getting old. He's looking a little older. He's moving a little slower. He goes into a chicken spot or a breakfast spot, ran with black people, I guess in LA, or I don't know where it was, LA, Atlanta, somewhere. But he goes in there shaking black hands, and it's like, not saying he's looking lost, but he's trying to look like he's trying to appeal again to the black vote. Do you feel Biden still has the black vote in his hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because black people are the least informed voters. And black people don't remember when Joe Biden stood on Washington, Capitol Hill, and said that black people need to be locked up. That his kids ain't going to school with no black kids. They don't understand that Biden, nigga, is the author and he sponsored, nigga, mass incarceration. It wasn't Bill Clinton, nigga. It was Joe Biden who led the 1994 omnibus crime bill that got us in the worst shit than slavery, homie. Black people forgot that. They forgot, nigga, that he headed that shit. That he came to America and said that there are black children who are gonna be super predators. And they forgot that. They can't name one thing that Trump has done other than the fact that he said that these guys from the Central Park rape should be locked up. You gotta forget, they really believe those kids raped that woman.
They did, years.
They really believe that. So why wouldn't they say these things? But on the flip side, Joe Biden done some things, put some laws into place that we still suffer from now today. But black people went out and voted against Trump in mass numbers for the same man. So that's why he go come over here and shake hands with black people and look lost, because he ain't forgot what he said.
That's some,
shit, he ain't forgot.
Real shit. That's some real shit.
But because we're the least informed voters, our history don't mean nothing to us. So we just voting off emotion.
So when you see a situation come up where Al Sharpton said he's an FBI informant, he's been an FBI informant, and they go back to him, he goes back.
He's a paid FBI informant.
A paid FBI informant. I'm talking about with the suits and.
But that's already been proven. I keep saying we are the least informed voters. Homie, that was proven in the 80s. The mafia proved that. It's documentation that they've already proven that. It's documentation.
We care, though.
And you might think he's a dumbass. I mean, he's a smart dude, but he does say some dumbass shit. I agree. Moving judgment. But he's not lying about this 94 crime bill. I'm not gonna sit here and say black people are the most uninformed voters like that. I'm not gonna say that, but he is absolutely correct when he says that Joe Biden has sort of created this pathway straight, the pipeline to prison, as they say. Again, most black people ever incarcerated, ever in the history, even more than slavery, the times of slavery, and basically has turned people of color back into slaves, making food for McDonald's, making products for Walmart, making Victoria's Secret panties, right? Like this is what's happening now. It's like there's a pipeline straight into prison, and the people who are benefiting are these private prisons who are employing slave labor. I mean, they do pay them what, like a nickel a day or something. That's not shit. And that's all going back into the prison system, by the way. They're spending that money for commissary. They're buying chips and ramen noodles and sodas and shit. So might as well be slavery, right? So that's what voting for Joe Biden is now. That's what voting and continuing the vote for Joe Biden is. And so I see why there's this sea change happening in the realm of people of color and their voting preferences. They're willing to look past Trump's rhetoric and racist fucking nonsense in order to slave labor. Come on, moving Dutchman, get informed. Look, you're talking to some like my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is, yes, moving Dutchman, yes. Why do you think the prison industrial complex is even a phrase? The prison industrial complex, man. It is true. It is that. It's like if we can look it up right now and see what slave labor prison industrial complex. Can't even believe it. Look at it. Prison industrial complex is most simply put a term used to describe by a personal relationship between prisons and industry. It is a term encapsulating centuries of governmental and economic benefit from prisons and prison labor at the expense of those incarcerated. Now, let's go and look at companies that benefit from prison labor. There's a whole shit ton, my friends. 12 major corporations. McDonald's, Wendy's, Walmart. They got Starbucks, Sprint. I don't even know Sprint. Sprint inmates provide telecommunication services. Inmates are used in call centers. They use inmates. Yes, indentured servitude, I guess, would be the word there. But we're not talking about, I mean, like how it's just a fancy word for slavery. Inmates provide telecommunication service for Verizon, Victoria's Secrets, Fidelity Investments. Look at this. 401k and other investments are held by Fidelity, and in some cases, some of your money invested by Fidelity is used for prison labor or in other operations related to prison industrial complex. The investment firm funds the American Legislative Exchange Council, which has created law authorizing and increasing the use of inmates in manufacturing. JCPenney's, Airlines, and Avis. American Airlines and car rental company Avis use inmates to take reservations. And they're paying and so let's see how much prisoners make. Prison. Look, my brother-in-law was imprisoned and he fought forest fires for like 25 cents a day, 75 cents a day. My brother-in-law, and again, like, you know, when I'm talking about, like when we were talking about Roger Waters, right, all last year, right? Still are talking about Roger Waters and talking about the Palestine conflict. My brother-in-law, who is a devout Muslim, went to Israel and saw saw directly how Israelis and Palestinians, how they were treated differently, how the apartheid state works. And it, you know, like these are direct, I'm getting direct sources here. All right. Like I have a direct source who has experienced all this shit. And so it's not like I'm just reading something off the internet. Like I have a direct source who can confirm these things. How much do prisoners, you know what? I'm going to have him back on the show actually. Okay. So they make, here you go, 10 to 65 cents per hour, depending on the program or assignment. Majority of prisoners earn less than 25 cents an hour. So what? Better than just on your ass in prison? Yeah, maybe. But I think that if there is a structure that has been created to imprison people and to encourage people to go to prison and fucking make it easier for prisons to exploit this work, then there's something wrong with that system. There's something wrong with that structure. I mean, I would definitely say you're right. It's better that prisoners have a job and they're working while in prison than just sitting around, because idle hands are the devil's playground, right? Or idle minds are the devil's playground. But they could get paid a little better, huh? They shouldn't get paid at all, in my opinion. Damn! So slave labor. I think you've been in Germany too long. Do you know how much prisoners cost the society each day? Yeah, a lot. A lot. How much do prisoners cost The American public. Let's just go American public. Let's see. 2016, $80 billion spent annually. Well, shit, we've spent double that in Ukraine. Then they charge you for they charge you after you get out. Yeah, you have to pay them back. So after you get out, you owe the prison. Yeah, they actually pay you. You actually have to pay them for staying there. 2017, at least $182 billion every year. Spending per prisoner varied widely across states from $18,000 per prisoner in Mississippi to $135,000 per prisoner in Wyoming. Ooh. How many of those are innocent but take a plea deal because they can't afford a lawyer? Oh, old-fashioned Google. Go AI. I mean, we're just going off of these numbers here that Google's given us, right? Like, I know this isn't the best source of information, but here we are. Prison population, look at this, 50,000. Cost per inmate, $26,000 per inmate. What is that, per year, though? Dang, Ohio, they taxing. Oklahoma, they have, okay, so 27,000, and they charge $16,000 per, but what is this? Cost per inmate in 2015. But like, what is it, per year? Common method, inmate, calculated state spend average person population. This figure represents the amount the state spends annually. So this is annual numbers here from 2015. And it's only gotten worse since then. If they're private prisons, then they shouldn't cost me anything. Yeah, let the corporations flip the cost, and then they can get their money back through their slave labor. But dang, Moving Dutchman, I didn't know that you were all about just straight up slavery. Damn. Nah, keep them locked up. I'm not saying let people out, right? That's different. That's a whole different thing. I mean, if they actually deserve to go to prison, then they should stay in prison. But I do think that prisoners should have rights. I do think that Damn, Opulence coming in with a hot take. He said, slave them. Damn, son. Damn, I didn't know y'all were on this one. I can't tell you are no professors. I can tell you there are no professors in that. Y'all are fucking with me, aren't you? Y'all trying to just get me riled up.
How dare you?
I'm not gay no more.
Okay, so moving forward. So these guys they identify as conservative. Feed them yogurt and prunes. Let them shit it all out, huh? Well, I will say that not all prisoners are the worst people, and I think that redemption is what you. I think redemption is an important part of the prison experience, and unfortunately the recidivism rate is terrible when it comes to prisoners and coming back to prison and stuff. But I do think that they should have a second chance in society if they have done their time. Like my brother-in-law, he made some stupid mistakes when he was a young man, and now he has a family. He has a master's degree. He contributes to society in a positive way, but yet he can't vote, and he can't, he doesn't have access to all the rights that other people do. It's hard for him to get jobs. And it sucks that, it's like when people are held accountable for shit that they wrote on Facebook when it was the early 2000s, right? Like you said something a little off color about the gays or something, and all of a sudden, you fucking are an evil devil person, right? Like we've never said some dumb shit when we were younger. Like we've never said something terrible in our life. Like it's just it's literally terrible. A terrible way to practice this society. If we don't have any kind of redemption arcs, then what's the fucking point? Like, everybody has made mistakes, and some make worse mistakes than others, but they also deserve a second chance if they did their time, and they don't deserve to be fucking, treated like shit. And I mean, prison is prison, and it shouldn't be a fucking, it shouldn't be the yacht club or anything, but they deserve to have some kind of respect and humanity. There should be something there. It shouldn't just be fucking break this person down for the rest of their life. And I don't know. I mean, I have empathy for people that go to prison. Not everybody, of course. I don't have any empathy for pedophiles and people who murder for like a multi-murdering, what is that, serial killers and such, like, people who have done things over, lifetime criminals and such, like Joe Biden. But there are people who like got caught selling weed, right, for the third time, and then went to prison, and fucking now they're just sitting in prison. They got a life sentence because the 3-strike rule, or some kind of drug charge that they got caught with crack cocaine. So now fucking, they fucking have to, for the rest of their life, they have to work in construction or low paying jobs, even if they're highly educated, So there should be considerations made per crime, per person. Anyways, getting off topic, earn your yogurt in prison. I do. I work for Amazon, which is another form of prison, right? Okay, so these guys sort of go through things, and this is sort of to paint the picture that, again, people of color, Mexicans, black people, fucking a ton of POCs are migrating over to the Republican Party, and they're going over and just looking past Trump's rhetoric because they're just like, fuck it, because the Democratic Party hasn't done shit for them ever, really. And again, the Democratic Party was the party of slavery and the KKK. The Republican Party was the party of Abraham Lincoln and people who were the abolitionists. So, not to say that Republicans are awesome, right? Because they're the same shit. It's the uniparty. But I'm just trying to show that there is this movement of black and brown people that's moving away from the Democrats because they're realizing that they have not really done shit for anybody. They speak a big game, but get nothing done that has favored black and brown people. So these guys are funny. I like these guys.
Barry Bonds or Babe Ruth. He said, well, Barry Bonds, but if I'm in a different group, I might say Babe.
He said, hey, that's real. He's real.
I said, hey, you get...
Maybe not the first one. But apparently Trump went to one. We got, people saying he was cooking. Then we got people saying he was making racist comments. Oh. We gonna be the judge of all that. Let's see the stuff that people were saying that actually, the people at the event said he was cooking. So let's see.
Well, I'm sure they did.
The radical Democrat Party has waged war on black families for many, many decades. Think of it. It's really 100 years. It's a century. They've controlled these cities for 100 years. Hard to believe. I said, can't be. It is. They've controlled, and look at what, you take a look at Baltimore, you take a look at New York, you take a look at Chicago, you take a look at all of these places, take a look at what's going on in the West Coast, take a look at what's happening. And they've controlled these cities for 100 years, and nothing happens. They're slum areas, they're dangerous. Nothing has happened, and we're going to change it. We're going to change it. On top of everything else, Joe Biden really has proven to be a very nasty and vicious racist. He's been a racist. Whether you like it or don't like it, I happen not to like it. Most of the people in this room happen to not like it. And if somebody does like it, they're not supposed to be here. Biden spent years.
Again, one of those comments, right? One of those, like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. It's like, you're not supposed to be here if you don't agree with me. And he's speaking at the Black Conservative Federation, which apparently there was more white people than black people there, I guess. I don't know. I can't confirm that, but that's what I heard.
palling around with notorious segregationists. You know that.
Which we saw.
He boasted that his home state was a slave state. He was very proud of that. He thought it was great. If you go back and look at his body language and the way he said it, he was very proud of it. He said that he didn't want his children to grow up in a, quote, racial jungle. I don't want my children in a racial jungle.
He did say that. He said, I didn't want him. He's POC's tan. Shut. He is not tan. He's orange. Okay. He's orange.
Joe Biden drafted the 1994 crime bill, which caused unfair sentencing disparities that devastated the black community, black families. Cory Booker called Biden the architect.
Man. He goes to black events and people still praise him. That's what I don't understand.
Trump got them shoes though. Which, yeah, you know, and you're seeing people buy those shoes. Fat Joe just came out. He got those shoes, but he's not a Trump supporter, but he's a shoe collector. So he's like, yo, I need to get them shoes. Trump should make a song with Usher. Oh my God. Tan leather. Yeah, I guess so. Oh Lord.
He goes to a black college, Morehouse. People praising him.
Did you see where he's trying to pull up on another family and eat some more black people and eat?
Yeah, in California, I think.
Eat what?
Chicken too. I think it's chicken and waffle.
Yeah.
Bro, no, it wasn't.
Chicken and waffles, bro.
Let me find it.
Y'all seen that, bro?
He pulled up with the security.
How can you not see through that?
Yeah. He
They
pulled
must truly think that people are dumb.
I think he pulled up to Roscoe's or something. It says he pulled up at a surprise stop at a Los Angeles black breakfast restaurant in an attempt to garnish support from the black community.
Hey, can you make some of your famous chicken and waffles for me?
Speaking of chicken.
Look, if you don't like chicken and waffles, then you shouldn't be here. No. Chicken and waffles is amazing, all right? I don't know who the you know, and like Charleston White, again, quote unquote rapper Charleston White was talking about how the left will pander to the black community or different communities, like Hillary Clinton, who says, yeah, I carry hot sauce wherever I go. And it's like, she went on the Breakfast Club and said, I carry hot sauce. Bitch, you don't carry hot sauce. I mean, you might kill your enemies with hot sauce, but you ain't fucking, that was a dumb joke. You're not carrying hot sauce, right? Like, that's not you. My mom carries her own hot sauce, okay? My mom used to carry around a fucking jalapeno or a serrano anywhere she went. She would, but now it's like, what does she carry around? It's it's a Tabasco, but it's like a super hot Tabasco. Because Tabasco, the original Tabasco is not that hot, but she carries around like a super hot souped up one. That's real shit, okay? That's that real shit. Hillary Clinton, fake shit, right? Just pandering, and that in itself is fucking gross and racist. Mighty, what's going on? Welcome in, mighty. Glad that you're here. Welcome to the shit show. We are out here doing the big things, talk about the big topics.
I don't think
that was Mississippi.
Okay.
All right, let's let Trump cook though, but that do sound good. I might get that out there.
Yo, I mean, chicken and waffles is dope, son. That's the shit right there. If you don't like it, then you ain't black. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I just had some
I've
chicken
had a
and
waffle. Mine would have got me.
I had chicken and
Racial jungle. I don't want my children in a racial. Remember this. It was a time when Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden were talking about predators and super predators. You heard that. This is a hell of a lot more of a speech than you thought you were going to get, isn't it, huh? They thought we'd be boring then. We'd give a little quick boring speech.
Oh,
but
mighty
it's called,
likes their hot
let's
sauce.
tell it like it is, right?
Man.
And then years later,
It's beautiful.
tell it like it is.
No, he's just funny, bro. I like the dude.
Look, they started chanting USA. Again, Trump is funny, right? He's hilarious. But we're not trying to hire a comedian for fucking the president. We're not trying to be Ukraine here. This is the goddamn United States of America. Can we get somebody decent out here?
I don't know what he is. He keeps it real.
My boy, he
Thank
started
you.
blushing.
Just want to tell the truth. Remember Howard Cosell? I just tell it like it is.
Is that
It
what
ended up getting him fired, but these are my.
Yeah, And then years. Yeah, and it is crazy. God, man,
spot that milk dud head ass.
I'm upset now, actually.
And that's the other Brandon right there, ain't it? The reporter?
Man, where was
Right
OT,
here?
man?
Yeah.
OT wasn't there.
Booker Joe had the nerve to falsely portray himself as a hero of the civil rights movement, which was such.
We know he
which was
lied
so
about
false.
that.
And then he said that if African Americans didn't vote for him, you ain't black. Now that one, that one, you know, that one's been so recent. I didn't even want to. But he did say.
Charlemagne the God, man. Charlemagne the cuck is still, well, I mean, he just came out against Joe Biden. I don't know if it was against it, but he said he doesn't think that he's fit to lead. Charlemagne the cuck, man. Anytime that gets brought up, man. Anytime that gets brought up, he just brushes it off like it ain't anything. It's like, man, that was so disrespectful. I remember that. I saw that shit when they first aired it. And I remember me and Raina were like, what did he just fucking say? Oh my God. Yeah.
Say that. A lot of people were surprised.
He didn't want to go
He
there.
did say that, but that one's so recent I didn't even want to put it in. We had to go back to the real stuff. But he did say that. I was a little surprised to see it. I'm sure you were too. Unlike racist Joe Biden, I've spent my entire life working hand in hand with black Americans to create jobs, build buildings, invest in our communities, and expand opportunity and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And we have. I built a lot of buildings, and I want to tell you, a black worker is a great worker. You've done an incredible job. They've done an incredible job.
That hits something in my head like, oh, yeah, okay. Mexicans are good workers too, right? Right? Mexicans are good workers. Asians are good workers. The whites are good workers. I know he's talking to a black audience here, supposedly. But still, that hits something, right? That hits something in the nerves. Like,
Really talented, great people.
Look,
And
he's
that's what
happy.
happens to Hispanic is incredible. You know, the Hispanic numbers are, Ben, you know, they're through the roof.
Sometimes people don't like the cold hard truth.
I feel like the people just getting their feelings too much. Like,
Yeah,
that's just all it
100%.
is.
Yeah.
Because I can see how you
Living
can
in
take it and just run with it.
We're living in a snowflake
Whatever
society.
you look for, you know you're gonna see that. If you're sitting there waiting for, well, he said blacks are great. You know who says like they would have found.
I
Something.
think, you know, it's a lot of people. Nah, I ain't gonna say that. Y'all gonna get
Because
out
I
of
even have it to me, like some things people say, and I'll be like, okay, why am I offended about that? Like him even saying, black workers are great workers. It made my heart flinch a little bit.
Why?
No, it was. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's just.
So which like?
But it's
don't know.
not racist.
So-
in the slightest.
but you have to work.
But I know, bro.
But I think why it hits it tinges in the brain a little bit is because of his rhetoric of how Donald Trump speaks. It's like, those blacks, man, they are good workers. I mean, I think and he's a very white man. You know, he's very, very white man. And there's a lot of history, right, to work in black folks. There's a lot of history to that. So, I mean, of course, it's going to hit on some nerves for some people.
Everybody have to work. He have to work.
You know, it's not,
He's
you know,
working
it's crazy.
right now.
People would not say it's racist to say Mexican workers are good workers, and that's true.
They are great workers.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't see how.
Shows. You like the drag show.
Late to black people is because he got indicted. Here, play this clip.
And then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing, but it.
Yeah, that's
We love him.
See, you didn't hear what he said. No.
That's actually what he said.
Cut it.
Here,
He said
he
they
basically
said.
says that again. Play the
said,
clip.
but
I think that's why the black people are so much on my side now, because they see what's happening to me happens to them. Does that make sense? I've heard that. When I did the mugshot in Atlanta, you know that mugshot is number one. Elvis Presley's number two, and Frank Sinatra's. They had Frank Sinatra for fighting, and they had Elvis for, I don't know, something in a gas station. He tried to hold up a gas station. I don't know, something. Elvis. So Elvis is number two, but he was always number one. The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And You know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing. Millions, by the way, millions of these.
Millions and
I got a shirt like that.
He says I got a
No,
shirt
see, I
like
think what he's
that.
saying is the
just
point.
talking.
They're trying to point the narrative, and they're trying to say, well, Trump is saying black people get it right. No, he's saying black people get wrongly accused of things, like he is being wrongly accused of things. So that's what they be arguing all the time. With all the left people about black people, though, they're always getting accused of things, this and that. No, well, he just said the same thing, and now you don't agree with him when he just said the same thing he just say.
So like he made, he makes a point that, I mean, he's honest. I'd buy that for $1. I would never buy that shirt. Like it's like I just would never. I would never. I can't. I just wouldn't. But be you, baby. Be you, opulence. If you get that $1 mugshot shirt, get after it, son. And like. Maybe that's what his intentions were. Like he just said that he wasn't comparing himself to the black struggle, but let's listen to what he said again, just so I don't fuck this up, because I will.
No, see, I think what he's saying is the
just
point.
talking.
They're trying to point the narrative, and they're trying to say, well, Trump is saying black people get it right. No, he's saying black people get wrongly accused of things, like he is being wrongly accused of.
Okay, and so maybe he is saying that. Maybe he is making a joke out of that black people get wrongly accused of things, and he's also getting wrongly accused of things, and he's still drawing the conclusion that his experience is like the black experience here in America, which is not. He's a billionaire. He's a white dude. And again, even if that's what he means, and even if that's how people are taking it, I don't find that rhetoric to be pleasing or to be even acceptable. Like, it's just, I don't like that it's such a divisive way of speaking. Like, he doesn't have to say shit like that, right? But again, black folks are looking past this shit. I mean, obviously you got 4 dudes here who are like, rah, rah, rah. Let's go Trump. So, this is a local paper to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I believe that convention was happening, or that rally was happening. And so this news station reached out to the BCF, the Black Conservative Federation, on remarks Trump made at a gala. So it was a gala that Trump was to raise money for Trump. That's what these galas are usually for. And this is from February 24th, and this is Charlotte. Okay, WBTV reached out to the Black Conservative Federation in regards to remarks that former President Donald Trump made at their gala in South Carolina on February 23rd. Trump delivered some controversial remarks about black voters ahead of Saturday's primary election. That's why black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. Trump said, and they actually view me as discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. Right. So that rhetoric, not a fan of it at all. So this is the statement. Below is the statement from BCF President Deontay Johnson regarding Trump's remark. Black Americans are waking up to the reality that the Democratic Party has taken advantage of them, and the media and the party are terrified. Our community supports the policies of Donald J. Trump, and knows full well that life was better 4 years ago under his administration. No amount of media deception or liberal race baiting will sway the minds of black voters who will cast their ballots this November for safer streets, a better financial well-being, a secure border, and complete rejection of Joe Biden's disastrous tenure. That's coming directly from the Black Conservative Federation. So again, people are looking past the rhetoric. They're not seeing it in the way that some perceive it. Again, I want to think about our leader as someone who can unite us, not someone who's going to divide people, because it's not all black people who are like, yeah, or even all Mexicans or even all Asians or any person of color. They're not all on board for that kind of shit talking. So you know, it's going to divide folks. He's just here dividing folks, man, and it's not ideal for the progress of this country, which is already in such decline already. Where is my other video? I had one more video. Here it is. So this is from the Wise Reacts. That's a strong point. Look, and again, I'll say it again. I would vote for Trump if Trump wasn't so divisive, because again, we can look back during his presidency. I liked my tax breaks. I was a business owner. I still am a small business owner. We ended up, there was great tax breaks that we got as being small business owners. The economy was doing well. Our border wasn't just bleeding in criminals who were fucking literally raping and killing women. White women. It's not funny that there has been several white women who've gotten raped and murdered in the past, in this past couple of weeks, and it's by people who came over the border just all willy-nilly. Again, I have nothing against people coming over the border. Thank you, Bonnie. I have nothing against immigration. I think it's beautiful. I'm a product of immigration. My mother is a fucking just an angel, just an absolute angel, and has been a great contribution to this country. And that is what I see. What makes America so beautiful is the supposed melting pot, right? Like these different cultures that come together, share their ideology, their art, their music, their ideas, and through that we get to learn about other cultures, but also transcend those divisions and become one beautiful culture here. That's the ideal situation, right? I know there's a lot of people that don't like that shit, but hey, I think the principles of America is based on that. And I love immigrants and I love people coming over here. But there has to be some sort of a vetting process. There has to be some sort of way that we can make sure we're not bringing over child traffickers, right? Because we do have over 80,000 children who just came up missing that came over the border. We do have fucking sex trafficking happening. We do have record amounts of fentanyl coming over the border, murdering our friends, family, and artists, right? Like we have that happening now, and it's not okay. Like that, there has to be some sort of, something has to give, right? And when you talk to people who've come to this country legally and gone through the right steps, they don't agree with this shit either. And the unfortunate part about it is that you don't see fucking rich white people suffering from this overwhelming group of people coming in and taking up resources. They are it's the poor people and the underserved communities that are getting taken advantage of. When you look at the people of Chicago, you have a room full of black people who are like, we are over this shit. Let me just. Speak out. Build the wall. Where was that one? It was just a couple months ago.
These South and West Side homeowners are angry. They believe the city has overextended itself and should be putting the tens of millions of dollars earmarked for migrants into Chicago's most vulnerable neighborhoods.
But the South Side has been under-resourced, underfunded for years, for decades. We have schools that need to be reopened. We have buildings that are abandoned that need to be business operated.
The group says the city has abandoned its Invest Southwest initiative, a Lightfoot-era program that was dedicated to reversing decades of disinvestment on Chicago's South and West sides, promising to align more than $2.2 billion through public and private funding.
We are taxpayers, we're property
Is
owners.
it? Hold on. I love this one white guy in the background here who's like, yes, I agree with this woman. But look, it's not the rich white people, because remember when Governor Abbott sent the fucking migrants to Martha's Vineyard? Immediately, these tolerant white liberals were like, they gotta go, bitch. They gotta get the fuck out. And so where do they put them? Where are they putting these people? Who's being displaced under this regime, allowing a ton of people? And by the way, it's not just La Raza, it's not just fucking, and it's not just South Americans. It's the Chinese, and it's the Middle Easterns, and it's that one guy who was a terrorist that everybody plays on their show, where it's like, oh, you'll know my name, and it's not the best, right? And it's not the brightest, and it's not the greatest group of people who are coming over in droves, okay? I'm sure there's beautiful people coming over, and I'm sure they're wonderful, and they're gonna do great here. But we have a problem when we don't know who's coming over, when we are reallocating resources from these already underserved communities to take care of people that we can't, we can't even take care of our own people. How do we expect to take care of others? And what are we seeing right here? It's not the Japanese. Well, the Japanese, they're in their own shit, right? They got their own, they got something good going on over there. Although I heard the Japanese don't like black people. I don't know. Anyways, in any case, the Japanese, they're fucking killing it. They're killing it. But it's not the whites, and it's not the rich whites who are suffering from this. It's folks that look like her, right? This is what's happening. So under this fucking Democrat, why not? Democrat regime, the people who are suffering the most are the people who are probably going to vote for them again. And that sucks, because there's this narrative that has to be followed. And again, like the black folks who, or even the brown, Mexican, whatever, these folks who are like, hey, I'm going to vote for Trump, they're not only getting persecuted by, the news media and the narrative of the legacy media. It's also their friends and neighbors who are like, oh, how could you? He's racist. Again, I don't like that rhetoric. But if it was Trump and in his policies, without that shitty rhetoric, I would vote for Trump. But because he is so divisive, and because people don't pay attention, and because people are so willing to just swallow whatever the legacy media shoves down their throat, there has to be someone who can connect the bridge there. There has to be someone that can be like, hey, this is crazy, and they've been lying to you. And that's what I liked Vivek, because he was doing that. Vivek Ramaswamy, he was great at sort of being articulate and calling out the media and talking about this same thing, about uniting people rather than dividing, because that's the unfortunate part about Donald Trump, is that he's just so divisive. So we have this last video here. And again, it's more black folks who are sick of fucking the bullshit.
Black people are going to save America from Joe Biden.
Think so? Okay.
We got tricked. He's weekend at Bernie's, bro. You literally re-upped on the most racist practice in America, gun control. As the black people started buying more guns than ever, you said, we're going to send you to jail for 10 years. Fortunately, the Supreme Court was like, what? You are bugging. You speak to black people as if you literally own them. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. What type of fucking... It's amazing. Yeah. It's the level of entitlement and audacity. Mind you, you're the same guy that crafted the criminal legislation, to send many of these black men to jail in the first place. Black people are going to have to save America from Joe Biden.
barbecue sauce.
Burgers.
And absolutely no high fructose corn syrup. Give me 1 second. Let me slide the video in.
Slide it faster.
Uh-oh. Now I got to start it up. Give me 1 second. All right, let's go.
I've been following President Trump. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been following President Trump since 2015.
And why do you go? Why does this matter so much to you? You travel across the country. I see you at all the rallies.
Because Trump changed my life. I mean, I haven't been able to serve in the military, and I'm not serving in Congress, so I feel like as a free American, we all have a responsibility, and we all owe our country a great debt. So this is my way of paying my debt to our country because I believe in what Trump stands for.
And what's interesting about like when black and brown people decide to go conservative is how unwelcomed they are within the left and how much they are slandered and how much they are threatened. And it's so interesting because you hear it time after time again. You'll hear black and brown people attending Trump rallies and people are so welcoming and stuff. Again, not an endorsement for Trump. But there is a fucked up hypocrisy that is taking place here when you have this, the left who is supposed to be this all tolerant and all loving and all accepting, except when you disagree with them. Oh my God, anytime I'm on like MSNBC's Instagram and I go and talk shit and I get a bunch of comments under it, every single one of them will not allow, they don't allow responses or tags because they know they're going to talk shit. And then whatever that comes back and I want to say shit, they know that they're not going to be able to defend it. They only have their talking point and then they fucking move on. They'll insult you and then leave. That is not a fucking argument. Because you're sad or offended that your fucking internal narrative and external narrative is being torn apart, all you have is talk shit and go. Whereas you hear it all the time where black folks and black and brown people can go to these places, like these conservative places, have conversations, talk about it, be welcomed, and you know, people have... The dialogue is open, is what I'm saying. Now, of course, I'm not saying Republicans or conservatives are right, because, of course, they can be extreme and they can be closed off just the same as any kind of leftist, liberal Democrat. But I do find when I'm on a conservative Instagram feed, and I'm just talking Instagram, even on YouTube, though, people are more open to have dialogue, right? They're more open to have a conversation. I can't stand it when someone just calls me a name on the MSNBC or fucking CNN feeds and they don't allow a response. It just drives me fucking crazy. All right, I'm gonna play this video a little bit. I'll be right back.
When you say he changed your life, what do you mean?
I come from St. Louis, Missouri. It's a very liberal place. Like Trump said in one of his speeches, which actually caught my attention. He said, "You guys live in squalor. African Americans, you live in squalor. You have the highest unemployment rate, the high crime rates, and things of that nature." He said, "You've been voting Democrat your whole life. What do you have to lose with voting for me?" And I really felt that because I grew up in generational ignorance. So I didn't know. I voted for Obama because of the color of his skin, and I didn't like anything that he had done when he was in office. So I didn't vote the second time around, and I was starting to believe, like many Americans feel sometimes, that our vote doesn't matter. But when Trump came out and he started giving his, doing these rallies, he's very passionate about America, and I felt that. And so I felt like it was, it really made me want to get into politics. And so he was talking about draining the swamp, and I didn't know what he was talking about. But now in 2024, I totally understand everything that he was talking about, and I support him 100%.
Wow.
Like,
Ben,
he didn't give up on us. I'm not giving up on him.
Ben. Wait, Steve. Say that one more time.
What part is that? Trump didn't. They're ridiculing the man. They're embarrassing him. They're embarrassing our country. That man is wealthy. That man was famous. He's famous. He's all of these great things. If they can do it to Trump, then they can do it to us. So I'm going to back him 100%. He didn't give up on America, and I'm not giving up on him. I'm going to be at every rally, and I'm going to be the loudest person at every rally. I'm going to scream his name. I'm going to yell his name. I'm going to keep the crowd going. I'm going to bring awareness to Trump.
All right. Go ahead, Steve.
What are the two or three things Trump stands for
that it resonates with him? What is it that actually Trump does, his actions? What is actually the thing that Trump does that he stands for?
What are the top 2 or 3 things that Trump stands for that matter to you?
America first. America first. I mean, how passionate he is about America. Me coming from St. Louis, I grew up in poverty. I grew up thinking a totally different way. That's one, keeping our country for first. We want to be first in infrastructure. We were a model for the world to follow, you know, and Trump is very passionate when he speaks about putting America first again and making us first with infrastructure, with education, and with our economy. Those things matter to me. Second, education. You know, critical race theory, I am a product of critical race theory. They were telling me that it was because of the white man that I couldn't succeed, because of the rich I couldn't succeed. That's not what it is at all. So how he speaks about education, that really means a lot to me because I was miseducated. I graduated high school and didn't know how to read.
Which is crazy because right now, I think, 40% of school-age children, or what was it? It's like 40% of these kids who are being educated now can't read at the level of grade that they're in. I think I'm fucking that all up. You'll have to Google it to get better, but this is true, right? Like, this is that white savior complex where it's like black people and people of color need to follow these rules because this is what's best for them. And I started this whole thing with, like, I'm not here to tell people what's best for them. Everyone needs to make their own decisions. We're individuals here in this country, and that's a good thing. We can be individuals. We can have different ideas, and we should be able to talk it out. I don't believe in diminishing somebody because of who they vote for or how they think. Now, of course, if they're just a piece of shit who, you know, steals and they're racist and they're a crackhead, yeah, fuck you and get the fuck out of my face. But if you're like, if you have different ideas than me, that's fine. That's fine. Like, I don't care. And it's just the level of disrespect that is shown towards people of color who step out of line with the white liberal ideology is gross. It's so gross. And, you know, this will be our final sort of thing that we go through. But we have this, I follow this lady who, you know, I don't agree with everything she says, but she's Puerto Rican, I believe. She looks black, but she's Puerto Rican. And she posts a lot of stuff because she is conservative and she doesn't look, you know, most people are like, oh, conservative are white people. It's not always the case. Oh, come on. Where is it? I know I saved it. No. Oh, here it is. So this is her. Let's watch like a video of hers because she talks so much shit. So here.
Biden administration's fault. No matter how much they try to manipulate you, don't believe them. Biden reinstated catch and release, meaning that when someone illegally enters into this country, they are released into this country.
So obviously
A recent statement from the Biden administration is now referring to all of the millions of illegals flooding our country as newcomers. So they want to give $1.4 billion of our tax money to cities and states that are providing critical services to new. We need to celebrate more white excellence. I'm really disappointed that there isn't a white-owned section in Target because I want to support my own community. I like to watch the WET channel, White Entertainment Television. Beyonce's new country song is totally copying white culture. That's racist. We need to celebrate.
So
I'm a bit under the weather, so pardon my voice. I did some.
There is discrimination happening in America right now, legal systemic racism discrimination, but it's not necessarily happening against brown folk. It's happening against Asians and whites on the books. That's why I fought against Prop 16, because For one, those of us with brown skin, we don't need standards lowered. We can meet the standards, so please don't do that to us, okay? And secondly, it creates resentment. When I went and got my 4-year degree and then I went and got my master's, we sat around a room. This was at UC Santa Cruz, which is like a total liberal, horrible college. And we sat around the room and we shared our GPAs. Mine was the lowest. And there was a white guy that said, oh, you got in here because you're a black woman. And I was like, why would you say that? Blah, 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 blah. And now I look back and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it was because of the color of my skin, because they do that now. I actually got a $40,000 scholarship because I'm black. That's not happening for white kids. It's not like you can apply and get a white kid $40,000 scholarship. They would not let that happen. So there is systemic racism in this country, just not the crazy woke liberal college professor.
So just so you get an idea of where she's coming from, right? So she'll post these every once in a while. She actually got kicked off of TikTok for posting these comments and DMs. So this is what it's like to speak against the left. And this dude DM'd her, you can't be serious. I'm actually dumbfounded that you're the biggest raccoon I've ever met in my life. Right? So this dude is calling her a raccoon, which is a pretty horrible thing to say to a woman of color or black person. Or
a recent statement from the Biden administration.
It's like, you are a dumb fucking bitch, right? This is some white dude, like, you're a dumb fucking. And here's the thing: white liberals are so racist against people who disagree with them. Look at it. This is what they're putting it. You are a raccoon ass bitch, right? And they put raccoons in there. You agree that she's a dumb fucking bitch, or she's a raccoon? Are you getting racist on me now? Fuck you, bitch. Tragic dog half breed. And this is probably a white person who said that. You're our dumb bitch. You trolling black women for likes and content. You sound like like racist whites. But hey, look at your fucking face. That post you made was lame as fuck. Okay, again, I don't agree with everything this woman says, right? But that's fucking racist, Moving Dutchman. That's racist. White people love trash like you. Someone black must have hurt you. I think that you must be mixed, but look and sound like a cracker. Get you bucket white paint, dash it on yourself, and be right at home. I'll get a bucket of white paint. She's married to another brown person, by the way. Hey, I just wanted to come here and tell you that you're a piece of shit, and I hope you die. Stop with your butts. I mean butts. Okay, what do you mean butts? Stop with your fucking outright racism, Moving Dutchman. You goddamn bigot. Look, I'm not trying to say you simply agree or do not. No, that's not true at all. It's not just ones and zeros, okay? In reality and in real life. There is gray areas. There's something in between. I can agree that I don't like gun control. And I can also be like, prisoners should have rights. I'm fucking liberal as fuck, man. But there's some shit that just goes too far. And I have conservative ideals and I have fucking liberal ideals. It's called being a human. It's not, and I'm not a robot. It's not just zeros and ones. That's how it works. It's not that simple. We're complex organisms that have lived through different experiences. And I've experienced racism. I've been called a fucking spick before. Okay, like I've dealt with this shit. I've also been an asshole who's been homophobic in ways or mistreated women in some ways, right? But we learn, we grow, and we're not the same person all over and over. What's up, baby? All right. And here we go. Life is simple. What? Uh-oh. All right. Maybe for you. All right, baby time. Hey, baby. All right, y'all want baby time? It's baby time. Look, she's not having it. Oh, she's sleeping. Oh, baby. Here, let's hear some baby noises. Oh, mama. Oh, mama. What's wrong, baby? Yeah, baby. Oh, I love you. And look, my little white girl. My little whitita. I know, baby. It's so bright. It's so bright. Wake up, little girl. It's showtime. She's like, it's bright, bitch. I ain't dealing with this. All right, guys. I'm going to take care of this one here. I